G7 leaders promise renewed support for Ukraine against Russia's onslaught. Good evening, here is Osrc News at 7. My name is Timilen Faladi. Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu says his administration is committed to programs and policies that enhance the all-round development of women and girl child in the state. Receiving a global women advocacy group, ActionAid Nigeria, at his office in Akure, Akeredolu, represented by his chief of staff, Olugbengali, said women inclusion in governance and engagement in diverse programs has greatly increased during his tenure. Government House correspondent Wahab Bankole completes the story.
The Women Advocacy Group, ActionAid Nigeria, was led to the governor's office by its director of programs, Sueba Dankwabo. She appreciated the governor and the state for sustaining relationship of over 15 years, which has led to productive partnership and overall development. According to Hajia Dankabo, the organization will be in the state for a 3-day workshop to provide technical support that will help understand the context of what gender issues are.
We received this call to say, please provide technical support for the development of gender policy. We see it as a declaration of the state to deliver gender-responsive public services, which is the trust that we envy every state government to take on, because it is an intention declared that the government is willing to deliver services to everyone irrespective of gender, sex, race, and whatever.
Special Advisor to Governor Akeredolu on Gender, Olamide Falana, said the 3-day workshop will serve as an eye-opener for concerned individuals towards promoting gender-related policies and issues.
We have currently an agency against gender-based violence, Osrc. The agency is well funded to ensure that the response of the state to gender-based violence is not only in words but in action. Action that's also implemented because we have the funding to back it up. And we all know as development professionals that when there is a policies trust of government without requisite funding backup, it is just mere words on paper. But then in those states, I can assure you that what we have is not words on paper, but what we have is words matched with action.
While noting the importance of women and the girl child in societal development, Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, represented by his Chief of Staff, Olugbengali, appreciated the team for the visit and his commitment towards developing the women and the girl child in the state.
Our governor is somebody who gives priority to gender issues. In fact, he has no option, because the First Lady will always put pressure and demand for what is due for our women. Our activities in our capacity as the First Lady in the state is also to shoulder issues of gender balance, and making sure that our guests, the women folk, get what is due to them all the time. So, as far as this state is concerned, everything that borders on gender issues receives adequate attention.
He assured them of his government support while restating his passion to promote overall development of the state and its people. Wahab Bankole, Osrc News.
One of the biggest quarry companies in Nigeria, Water Investment Limited, has been sued off by the Ondo State government for failure to remit taxes. The business outfit was accused of owing the state 217 million naira and had refused to respond to several notices from the State Internal Revenue Service. Omoriola Hungbeji reports that the company is among 3 others sealed up in the Igbo local government area of Ondo State for non-tax remittance.
Business outfits affected by the enforcement are Water Investment Limited, Ajiwogbo Sawmill, and a fuel station, Optimal Energy. Officials of the Ondo State Internal Revenue Service, ODIRS, arrived at the premises of Water Investment Limited in Costain, one of the biggest quarry companies in Nigeria, served the representative of the company warrant authorizing the agency to carry out its responsibility. Trouble started when an official of the Nigeria Army guarding the outfits challenged the team of the ODIRS, saying they have no right to seal up the company while still inside the premises. Normalcy, however, returned after a lengthy conversation between the military personnel and the team. Leader of the team, who is also the head of legal department of Ondo State Internal Revenue Service, Adebayo Ogunshuyi, confirmed the company's refusal to respond to invitations from the agency. According to Mr. Ogunshuyi, the agency acted in accordance with an order by the Ondo State High Court, headed by the Chief Judge, Justice Williams Akintoroye, on the 18th of May 2022.
Woda Quarry Company is one of the biggest quarry company in Nigeria, and they are owing the Ondo government a princely sum of 270 million in various tax, and they have refused to pay. We served them the first notice, they didn't honor it. We served them the second notice, they didn't honor it. We invited them to our office to come and supply us with information and documents to establish their tax compliance. They didn't answer us, so we served them the notice of assessment. Thereafter, we served them demand notice. They didn't honor it again. Thereafter, we now went to court. The court gave us an order to come and seal up these premises for default in payment of tax.
The team also sealed off Ajiwogbo Sawmill and Optimal Fuel Station along Biniore Expressway for failure to remit taxes to the government of Ondo State.
They will have to come to our office to come and settle their tax liability, and thereafter we'll go to court for the court to lift that order.
The affected outfits are expected to visit the agency's headquarters for rectification. Omoriola Humbiji, Osrc News.
The two sides to the Ilado-Igbatoro community chieftaincy controversy are yet to agree on the way out of the crisis caused by the removal of the Olu chief Kayode Ajomole. His removal was ordered by the Deji of Akure Oba Alade Toyinbo Aladelusi, who claimed it was in accordance with the power vested on him as a paramount ruler of Akure Kingdom. On the other hand, the chairman, Akure North Local Government, Bankole Ogbesetore, faulted the action, saying the monarch lacks the power to remove the head of a community outside his domain. Osrc reporter Richard Elisomi has details.
An agrarian Ilado-Igbatoro community in Akure North Local Government area of Ondo State was recently in the news following the removal of the Olu of the community, Chief Kayode Ajomole, by the DG of Akure Oba Alade Toyinbo Aladelusi. The DG had removed Chief Ajomole installed 35 years ago and replaced him with Chief Ifedayo Afelumo. It was a development that generated instant reactions from the authority of Akure North Local Government Council. The council chairman, Mr. Bankole Ogbesetore, said the division of Akure into two local governments has made Akure North a different entity of which the DG has no control.
I don't know why DG of Akure will now leave his own areas of jurisdiction and now come back and come to Akure North to come and install another Olu, whereby crisis is being emanated each time that one was done.
But the DG of Aladelusi has defended this action, claiming that the removal of Chief Ajomole as the Olu of Ilado-Igbatoro and his replacement with Chief Afelumo was within his traditional power as the paramount ruler of Akure Kingdom. The monarch, who spoke through the Odopetu of Akure High Chief Olufemi Bello, said apart from court judgments that sanction such power, his paramountcy is backed by a circular from the Ondo State government dated January 16, 2007.
It is therefore laughable that the chairman of Akure North will dabble into a matter that has been agitated as to determine who should be and should be not, thereby considering himself as a court of law. It is just expected that the council chairman, rather than try to create confusion, should take a bold step and summon courage to speak truth to those who claim ignorance of the law in this matter.
Telling West South his own side of the story, the purported deposed Olu Chief Ajomole said the allegation of gross misconduct leveled against him by the family is baseless, adding that the DG acted arbitrarily. He claims that the bifurcation of Akure has taken the political and traditional administration of Akure North away from the jurisdiction of Obalade Lucy, and therefore lacks the right to appoint or remove minor chiefs in Akure North.
The DG said he has disposed me as the Olu of Ilado. I see that statement as uncivilized statement, very, very barbaric, unprogressive, deteriorating statement, because the allegation he held against me is not found in anywhere. In the recent, there's nothing like paramount ruler. He is only an Oba. He has no paramountcy to cut across to any other government.
West House also spoke with Chief Afelumo, the Olu of Ilado installed by the DG, who said the family petitioned the monarch to remove his predecessor because of his alleged high-handedness and conduct impeding the development of the community.
Even Gbata Kegbe lọ sọ́dọ̀ Deji wá fún ní a year wípé gbogbo nǹkan tí àwọn ìlú ẹ̀ ń sọ ẹ̀ àti àwọn fámìlì ẹ̀ wípé kó lọ ṣàtúnṣe wípé tó bá ti ṣàtúnṣe fún ọdún kan o pé òun gan agbègbèsẹ̀ láti yọ bẹ̀tì sí ẹ̀ oní tiẹ̀ ló ń sọ Ọlákùrẹ́ náà ti lòun ti wá oní Deji ò lágbára lóhun lórí.
As the chieftaincy tussle continues to raise doors, it is only a matter of time to know which side is justified. Richard Ilesomi, West House News.
We take a commercial break now. When we return, aggrieved APC senators meet with President Muhammadu Buhari. Do stay with us.
Brekete times 10. Get a Glow SIM today and enjoy 1,000 Naira sign-on bonus for voice and data. All new and existing Glow subscribers also get 10 times the value of their every recharge, plus up to double their data recharge as bonus. All Glow subscribers also get up to free 20,000 Naira bonus for voice and data.
Glad to have you back. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook, Osrc TV Ondo, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel, Osrc TV Ondo. Amid the vicissitudes of life, while some strive for attention, few dare existential barriers for intention to make a difference on the global space. One of those rare gems is the wife of a prominent chief in our town, Mrs. Remilekun Ibidapo, whose value addition to societal development has been recognized by the platform Hero Magazine International, which bestowed Ondo State Female Role Model Award on her. Joy Powers reports that this year's award is a tenth in the series of Ondo State Female Role Models Award by Hero Magazine International.
The Ondo State Outstanding Leadership Award platform was conceived 15 years ago by the Hero Magazine International to celebrate excellence and honor notable men and women of Ondo State who have left indelible mark on the sand of time. Notable among the dignitaries present at the ceremony is the Ondo State Governor, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, who was represented by his special advisor on union matters and special duties, Dari Aragbaye. In his welcome address to guests at the 2022 Ondo State Female Role Model Award platform, which has been hosted since 2012, the organizer and publisher of Hero Magazine International, Mr. Sunday Akimbiola, while congratulating the awardees for being worthy ambassadors, said they were chosen following the standards they have set in their communities, the state, and beyond.
This noble award platform does annually seek to celebrate excellence, positive personal accomplishments, and to encourage Ondo State men and women, either by birth, marriage, or naturalization, and those who through their service have positively impacted and stood out in their chosen profession to continue to soar higher and contribute their quota towards the development of our dear Ondo State.
Wife of the Are Atuluche of Owo, Mrs. Remilekun Ibidapo, alongside 7 others, were conferred with the Female Role Model Award of the year 2022.
Congratulations, my dear sister.
Chairman on the occasion, the Are Atuluche of Owo, Prince Rotimi Ibidapo, represented by the Oliyire of Iyireowo, Alaba Adaku, lauded the organizer of the program for creating the platform to recognize deserving individuals in Ondo State.
It's an avenue to showcase our women of high esteem and virtuous women, and thus I use that medium to challenge the organizers to please create an avenue where the younger ones, the youth, will also be captured.
One of the distinguished, Mrs. Remilekun Ibidapo, a USA-based business tycoon, thanked the organizers of the program for finding her worthy and strengthened the call for training of the girl child.
This award will make me to do more to mankind. We advise all the women to try to train their children, to give them good education, and at the same time to believe that what men can do, women can also do it.
High point of the event was the unveiling of the special edition of the Hero magazine by the Governor, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu. Joy Pius, OSRC News.
The hazard inherent in drug abusers continues to wreak havoc on society as it comes with varying mental and health challenges and on individuals who indulge in it. As the world marked the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, again Joy Pius x-rays the menace of substance abuse and the interventions to curtail its pains.
The misuse of substances such as alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, cannabis, inhalants, among other drugs, is a rising menace in the world, Nigeria inclusive. According to a report by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes, around 275 million people used drugs worldwide in the last year, while over 36 million people suffered from drug use disorders. The National Drug Use Survey in 2018 revealed that in Nigeria there are around 14.3 million drug users, of which close to 3 million suffered from a drug use disorder. Drug abuse, according to health experts, can contribute to harmful short and long-term health risks, which can result to memory loss and social problems. In Akure, a clinical psychologist, Evelyn Onibi, highlighted some of the factors responsible for drug abuse and measures to stamp out the menace from society.
Some people, they grow up to be we call them the anxious and the fearful, so that they will be bold, so that they will be able to face life. Sometimes they go into substance abuse. So it simply means they cannot handle stress. They can't handle failure. And you see that at the end of the day, maybe when they fail or whatever, they go into substance abuse. So I discovered that a lot of people, they have reasons. Don't just say, leave it. Why can't we go deep down and find out the reasons, the factors why people are going into it and begin to address them?
The Ondo State Commander, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Mr. Kayode Raji, noted that the agency is on the forefront of a fight against drug abuse and illicit drug trafficking in the state. He assured that the agency is addressing the challenge in Ondo State despite the constraints.
Between June 2021 and May 2022, we've seized over 30 tons That's 30,000 kilograms of assorted drugs. And of course, we have arrested quite a number of suspects. In the period under review, 294 suspects were arrested. We go to schools to teach the students drug abuse is evil. Don't even try it. For those who have not started, and for those who have started, we teach them what we call coping skill, how to get out of the quagmire and live a normal life. And for those who are already destroyed by these drugs, who are already dependent on the drugs, we have a rehabilitation center.
The Chief Medical Director, Neuropsychiatric Hospital Akure, Dr. Akinwumi Akinoye, emphasized the negative impact of the use of illicit drugs and advised the public to exercise caution.
The number of individuals coming down with mental health problems as a result of the use of these substances keep rising in recent time. Have not less than 70% of the male patients in our facility at Neuropsychiatric Hospital Akure who have come down with mental health problems are obviously associated with the use of these different types of psychoactive substances.
The call from experts around the world is a deliberate and continued advocacy to disabuse the mind of those caught in the web of drug abuse, particularly the youth population. Joy Pius, OSRC News.
Some group senators serving on the platform of the All Progressives Congress have met with President Muhammadu Buhari. The senators, numbering about 22, had pledged to defect from the party over the outcome of primaries in the state ahead of the 2023 general elections. The leader of the delegation, Orji Uzokalu, said the lawmakers felt disenfranchised by the process. Speaking at the meeting, President Buhari urged the senators to exercise restraint in their decision to defect from the party, saying the defections were a threat to the APC's majority in the National Assembly. After the meeting, Kalu said the aggrieved senators would no longer pursue defection from the APC, affirming that the meeting with the president was successful and the issue of the campaign from the party has been laid to rest. Now, the Federal High Court in Abuja has dismissed the application for bail by the detained leader of proscribed Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. Justice Bintu Yako, in a ruling, said the suit was a gross abuse of the court process and an attempt to continue to litigate on issues that have already been ruled on. She, however, advised the applicants to approach the Court of Appeal on the issue of bail should he feel aggrieved by the decision of the court. The trial judge added that she was not satisfied with the reason the IPOB leader gave for his failure to appear in court for the continuation of his trial. Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola says the increasing number of inmates awaiting trial is having a toll on custodian centers. Aregbesola, who spoke at the Nigerian Correctional Service retreat for senior officers in Sokoto, blamed the congestion of prisons on the slow dispensation of justice. The minister also bemoaned the unbefitting status of some of the correctional facilities across the country and urged the personnel to mobilize community efforts to change the facial appearance of the facilities. President Muhammadu Buhari will be leaving for Portugal at the invitation of President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa. President Buhari, during his visit, will attend the United Nations Ocean Conference in Portugal. The conference, which began in Lisbon yesterday and runs till July 1, is co-hosted by the governments of Kenya and Portugal and supported by the UN Department of Economic and Social Affairs, DISA. The event aims to accelerate the adoption of science-based innovative solutions to challenges facing oceans and the global marine ecosystem. President Buhari will also hold official talks with his Portuguese counterpart and be conferred with the country's national honor and decorated with a great scholar of the Order of Prince Henry. The president is expected back in Abuja on Saturday, July 2nd. The leaders of a group of 7 composed of the world's wealthiest democracies have promised to stand with Ukraine for as long as it takes amid the ongoing invasion by Russia. The leaders who met for a second day of the summit in a German castle in the Bavarian Alps said in a joint statement that they will continue to provide financial, humanitarian, military and diplomatic support to Ukraine. They also pledged to continue sustaining and intensifying international economic and political pressure on the government of Russia, President Vladimir Putin and its enablers in Belarus. Moremi Ogumola reports.
With 18,000 police officers guiding the summit, these protesters rode their luck and tried to grab the attention of the leaders, urging the G7 to do everything possible to stop the war in Ukraine.
They're talking about the war, the destruction of the world, the climate catastrophe, and we want to show our protest.
Inside the castle, Ukrainian President Zelensky, invited to attend via video link, was asking for more weapons, telling the G7 leaders that he wanted the war to be over before winter. For their part, the United States announced it would send new advanced air defense systems to Ukraine. While G7 leaders discussed increasing military firepower, NATO Chief Jens Stoltenberg in Brussels announced a large expansion of battle-ready troops.
We will strengthen our forward defenses. We will enhance our battle groups in the eastern part of the alliance up to brigade levels. We will transform the NATO response force and increase the number of our high readiness forces to well over 300,000.
Such massive numbers making this the biggest overall of NATO's deterrent since the Cold War.
It is clear that this war has a very deep impact on international relations. As I said before, I see Russia's attack on Ukraine as a turning point. All international rules of cooperation have been broken, especially that borders can't be changed by force. We as G7 agree that these will be long-lasting effects and will stay with us a very long time and influence international relations for a very long time.
It's been a delicate balancing act how to increase pressure on Russia and continue to support Ukraine while making sure that sanctions won't backfire on G7 economies. Developing countries are also paying a very high price. Indonesia President Joko Widodo, invited as one of the guests to the summit, urged the G7 to find a solution to the food crisis hitting developing nations as a result of the war. Together with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, leaders discussed ways to lift the blockage of Ukrainian food stocks. With widespread humanitarian disasters looming and the war in Ukraine ongoing, G7 leaders will leave the Bavarian Alps with multiple crises unresolved. Next on the agenda, the NATO summit in Madrid later this week. Omoremi Ogumola, Osrc News.
And also Sports and Youth Development Minister Sunday Darius praised Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, for implementing agreed principles on youth soccer development. He heaped the plaudits on the governing body's leadership, while hosting players and officials of the under-17 boys, the Golden Eaglets, at a reception following their victory at the WAFOB Under-17 Championship in Ghana. According to Dari, NFF made merit and competence its watchword in selecting coaches for 8th grade national teams, a move that has begun to bear fruit. It charged the players to remain focused ahead of the African Championship in Algeria. Before we go tonight, let's remind you that Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has reiterated his commitment to the enhancement of women and girl-child development in Ondo State. The Ondo State government has sealed off 3 business outfits for non-remittance of tax. Discontented APC senators have changed their minds over plans to decamp to other parties. And from the foreign scene, we told you that G7 leaders have pledged renewed support for Ukraine against Russia's assault. That's the news. Thank you for watching. Good night.